Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. Somewhat recently, I did some videos. I did a video series on subtext and how it works and how to write it, or I guess not write it because it's not actually on the page. Anyway, I mentioned that in some places, in some stories, you may want to make your reader's experience deviate from your character's experience, which is what this video is going to be about, deviating the reader's experience from the character's experience. Now, as I say that, some people might be going, uh-oh, right? They might be thinking, does that not break a writing rule? Don't we want to write our stories so our readers feel like they're experiencing what the characters are experiencing? I mean, after all, I did all these posts and videos about writing empathetically instead of sympathetically and sentimentally. And before, I've done a post about the putting emotional tension in your reader instead of on the page. And so there's a lot of rules and things about wanting your reader to immerse themselves in the story and experience it as if they are the character. So, I mean, what gives? What gives with this video? Deviating the reader's experience from the characters. Well, there are some situations where making your reader's experience, having them experience something different and sometimes the opposite of your viewpoint character, is exactly what you want and need to do. So, let's talk about how to break this writing rule down properly. Rather than recap the whole rule, which, I mean, I've basically already talked about, the basic rule is that often you want your audience to experience the story as if they are the character. But you might want to break that. One is when you have an unreliable narrator or a blind character, which I have touched on in previous videos. If you haven't watched those, that's fine. Hopefully you can get what those are. What an unreliable narrator is, right? And a blind character, a character who's not quite seeing things. When you are using subtext to write unreliable narrators or blind characters, you depend on the reader's experience deviating from the viewpoint characters. The reader has to think and feel something different than the characters so they can come to a different conclusion. That's how subtext works. So that might be a reason why you want to deviate the reader's experience from the character's experience. Another reason, you're writing about an unlikable person. So when you're writing about an unlikable character, you often don't want your audience to feel the same way as your character. If you rendered that character's experience exactly as they felt it and saw it, the readers would probably hate the book. So instead, you might write about the character in an entertaining way. So if you watch Saving Mr. Banks, actually I want to say don't watch it because it's a lie. And as a writer, it's like, oh, how could we support this? Anyway, I actually haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw most of it at an activity with some people. Anyway, but if you watch it, you'll see how the filmmakers, they didn't try to get the audience to feel the exact same things as Pamela did. Instead, they used her unlikable characteristics to entertain the audience, often with humor. In a future video, I'll be talking about turning unlikable people into likable characters and how we can do that. The third point here, the third reason you might want to deviate experiences, so it's to create a certain type of humor. So certain kinds of humor, they require the audience's emotional experience to be different than the characters. Humor that works off moments of embarrassment and awkwardness or satire often depend on this deviation. Yeah, because I mean, if we were really feeling as embarrassed as the character felt, which I guess some people do struggle with, but if we were really feeling it to that extent, then it's not funny, right? So we want that deviation. Next reason you might want to use it is when you're writing summary. So sometimes the fact that your character thinks or feels a certain way is important for your reader to know, but it's not important enough for your readers to experience it in a full-blown scene. So, for example, there's a part in The Hunger Games after Katniss shoots an apple in the game maker's pig's mouth. Collins writes that Katniss went to her room and cried most of the afternoon. I think it was afternoon anyway. So we get a summary of how Katniss feels, and we don't feel the same extent of sadness that Katniss does. So that's another reason is to do that, is for summary. Next reason, you might have a powerful narrator. So you might be writing a story where the narrator itself is more of a viewpoint character than your protagonist. So Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events is a good example. So this takes us further from experiencing the protagonist's thoughts and emotions vicariously, and instead lets us be entertained by the way Lemony Snicket tells the story. We might find something Lemony Snicket said funny at the same time our protagonists are crying because someone just died, right? So there's this deviation there. Next reason, right? You need to take the thunder out of your story. So I know this sounds a little ridiculous or counterintuitive, but the truth is there are some situations, and they're uncommon, but there's some situations where you actually want or need to take the thunder out of your story. And you need to distance your reader from what is happening. So, for example, if you're writing like a book about like the Holocaust and its target audience is intermediate students, then rendering the thoughts and emotions of those victims perfectly would likely be too horrific for a young audience to take in. I mean, it wouldn't be school appropriate. So it's reasons like this that movies like The Pianist are rated R. So there you go. Those are 6 situations where you may not actually want your audience to feel the same way as your character. With that, here are some ways to break the rule. So there are, as far as I've discovered, 3 ways to deviate your audience's experience from your reader's experience, which is subtext, tone, and summary. So subtext leads the audience to come to a different conclusion than the characters, which leads the audience to feel differently than the characters. Tone can make the way the scene is told different than the way the character experiences it. Summary almost always creates distance from the emotions and intellectual experiences of the character. Telling the audience about what happened with the character is less powerful than showing it, right? So when you're using summary, there is going to be some level of deviation. So here is how I would probably handle each of the situations that I listed, though you could use, more than one method for each. So if I have an unreliable character or a blind character, I'm going to be using subtext. If you're writing about unlikable characters, you're probably going to use tone. If you're writing humor, you're going to want to use tone. If you're dealing with summary, I mean, that's self-explanatory using summary. And then if you have a powerful narrator, you're going to be using tone. And if you need to take the thunder out of your story, it's probably going to be using summary and tone. Might be using subtext too. But anyway, there you have it. Reasons why you would want to deviate the reader's experience from the character's experience, and how you would do that. Anyway, so good luck with that. Hope you can use it in your writing. And follow and subscribe, and you can get my latest writing tips at September C.